Li Feng, a newly graduated college student on Earth, unexpectedly traveled to a world called the Xuanhuang Realm. In this world, the strong are respected. Li Feng, who originally had ordinary qualifications, unexpectedly obtained the Heavenly Dao Space from Earth, which can deduce realm insights, evolve any martial arts, and practice for thousands of miles in a day. In order to return to Earth, Li Feng constantly practiced and killed countless powerful enemies, ultimately becoming the strongest existence in the universe. Chapter 1. Tiandao Space. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xuanhuang Sect. Located in the southern region of the Xuanhuang boundary, within the territory of the Great Xia dynasty, on a Qingfeng mountain. The mountains are winding and winding, stretching like a sleeping dragon. At this moment it was scorching heat, and a faint glow slowly spread across the sky, adding a touch of color to this indifferent sky. Beside a small river at the foot of Qingfeng mountain, a young man in black, about 15 or 16 years old, sat cross-legged by the river, quietly watching the turbulent river flow past his eyes. Fish as big as palms, constantly striving upwards to cross. Li Feng was a bit confused. He never expected that he would travel through a strange journey right after graduation. And it also crossed into this Xuanhuang realm where martial arts are revered. At first, Li Feng thought it was someone else joking with him, until one day he saw someone casually punch a tree the size of a bowl and casually break it. Li Feng finally believed that he had truly traveled, and a month had passed before he accepted the fact of his journey. Although the people here still have various etiquette and are very similar to the Earth, just like ancient China. But Li Feng knew that this was a brand new world, a world that prioritized martial arts, and it has been multiplying for countless thousands of years to this day. Whenever practicing, Li Feng couldn't help but think of his parents and second brother who were still on Earth. Li Feng didn't know what kind of impact his family would suffer after he disappeared. And now, Li Feng has a good identity. Li Feng is the second son of the second elder of the Xuanhuang sect, ranking second and also the youngest in the family, deeply loved by his family. Xuanhuang sect is one of the most powerful sects in the Great Xia dynasty, with numerous experts dominating the south of the dynasty. And Li Feng's current position is just one branch of the Xuanhuang sect. There are many other branches like this, specifically established to screen talents for the general sect. Li Feng's cultivation level is currently at the 3rd level after birth. At his age, his cultivation level can only be considered average, and he is not even among the average level in the Qingfeng mountain sect. In the Xuanhuang realm, martial artists start their cultivation with the 1st level being the acquired level, divided into 9 levels. Above the acquired level is the innate level. As for what realm is above innate, Li Feng doesn't know. After all, the highest he has ever seen is his own father, which is the innate realm. Xuanhuang sect is divided into 3 levels. Outer sect, inner sect, and core disciple. After becoming a core disciple every year, one has the opportunity to participate in assessments and enter the general sect. The levels of disciples in different sects are divided according to their cultivation levels, with the 1st to 3rd level being external disciples and the 4th to 6th level being internal disciples. After reaching the 7th level of cultivation, one becomes a core disciple and has the qualification to enter the general sect. For someone like Li Feng who is not very talented, the requirements are still very high. Many people may not reach the 7th level of the postnatal world even if they are extremely poor, let alone enter the sect's cultivation. Li Feng's predecessor had mediocre qualifications. Even though his father was the second elder of the branch, he had more resources than other disciples. Now at the age of 16, he only had 3 levels of cultivation, and was finally among the bottom of the group in the branch. However, because his father is a branch elder, Li Feng doesn't have to worry about daily expenses. Overall, he is living fairly well. But because Li Feng's qualifications were too average, they were not taken seriously. Especially Li Feng has an excellent older brother. Compared to him, Li Feng appears even more ordinary. His elder brother Li Yi, who was only 20 years old, had already reached the 9th level of cultivation, and was only one step away from entering the innate realm. He was a super genius of the Zongzong. In this situation, Li Feng's performance was too mediocre. Once you come, let it be. Since you don't know the reason for traveling, let's live well. Even if my qualifications are not good, as long as I work hard to cultivate and achieve success in the future, perhaps I can return to Earth. Even if you can't go back, you have to live your life in this world. I just don't know, how are my parents and younger brother doing now? Li Feng murmured to himself, and then he began practicing. During Li Feng's cultivation of immortality, the spiritual energy around his body accelerated, much faster than the speed at which he absorbed spiritual energy during his previous cultivation. Li Feng was overjoyed and then continued his cultivation. As time passed, Li Feng realized that it was not because of his cultivation talent that he had changed. These spiritual energies had not been absorbed by him at all. Li Feng was very anxious and thought that something was wrong with his body. Just as Li Feng was about to end his cultivation and find his father, a powerful force pulled Li Feng's consciousness into his mind. After stabilizing his mind, Li Feng discovered a mysterious space deep in his mind. Before Li Feng could observe it carefully, a line of big characters appeared out of thin air in the mysterious space. Tiandao Space. Is this what caused me to travel? The Heavenly Way. What exactly is this? Subsequently, Li Feng controlled his consciousness and prepared to enter the Heavenly Dao Space to explore the truth. However, as he stepped forward, he suddenly felt a whirlwind and regained consciousness. Li Feng, who had come to his senses, was a bit confused. Then he remembered that this thing called the Heavenly Dao Space was in his mind. And just now he seemed to have achieved inner vision, which is something that only strong individuals with innate abilities can achieve. Unexpectedly, he also succeeded by chance. Is Tiandao Space a mysterious space related to Tiandao? It seems that my journey was caused by this heavenly space, which should be a very powerful thing. Maybe it can improve my qualifications. The more Li Feng thought about it, the more he felt that it was not easy. In the end, he decided not to tell anyone about it. It was about his travels, and whether he could even go back depends on this space, which is his biggest secret. Having made up his mind, Li Feng decided to go home first and try the usage of this space before proceeding. The next second, Li Feng's figure changed and appeared more than 10 meters away. This world is really magical. If it were on Earth, this speed would probably be sliced by people. Li Feng sighed for a moment, then his figure flickered lightly in the mountains and quickly disappeared around the small river. Xuanhuang Mountain is very large, so there are many buildings used for living. As Li Feng's father is an elder of the sect, he naturally lived in the same area with his father. Not long after, Li Feng returned to his residence without greeting anyone. As soon as he entered the room, he immediately crossed his knees and began practicing. As expected by Li Feng, when he began his cultivation, he once again experienced an inward gaze, and his consciousness appeared again in a hazy space. Chapter 2. Breakthroughs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After entering the Heavenly Dao Space again, Li Feng found that he could enter the space this time, so he entered the Heavenly Dao Space with a probing mind. As time passed, Li Feng kept moving forward. I don't know how long it took, but Li Feng realized that this heavenly space seemed to have no end. Without exploring useful information, Li Feng decided not to look for it and instead began to meditate and practice. Since the moment Tiandao Space appeared, Li Feng's heart was completely ignited. He wants to cultivate and strive to stand at the peak of this world, not because he wants to dominate the world, but with a heart of longing. In the Xuanhuang Realm, the cultivation of martial artists is divided into two parts. Martial arts and techniques. Cultivation is used to absorb spiritual energy and enhance one's own realm, while martial arts can maximize the power of one's own realm. As an outer disciple of the third level, Li Feng can only cultivate martial arts and has no martial arts skills. To obtain martial arts skills, one must become an inner disciple. However, Li Feng's father was the second elder of the sect, so Li Feng was fortunate enough to obtain one of the few martial arts within the sect. This cultivation method is called Xiantian Gong, which can reach the peak of Xiantian when practiced to a great extent. It can be considered as one of the last cultivation methods of the sect. Li Feng was just practicing in the space, and this time the Heavenly Dao Space did not expel him. Li Feng finally breathed a sigh of relief. As Li Feng practiced his martial arts, there seemed to be a certain change in the Heavenly Dao Space, which led to Li Feng's faster and faster understanding of innate skills. What I didn't understand before was understood in just an instant, and the speed of realization is constantly increasing. The realization of the innate skill quickly caught Li Feng's attention, and he unconsciously operated the technique. At this moment, more spiritual energy from the outside world was also cultivated than usual. I don't know how long Li Feng has been practicing, but suddenly a deep roar came out of his body. Li Feng woke up instantly and was then overjoyed. It seems that the Heavenly Dao Space can accelerate my cultivation speed, and it seems to promote my understanding of martial arts. It seems that even if my cultivation qualifications are not very good, with the space of the Heavenly Way, I still have the qualification to become a member of the strong. Li Feng was pleasantly surprised and thought to himself, but then a foul smell came out, and his body was covered in stains. In fact, these are all useless things contained in the human body. The acquired realm is a realm of refining the body. To become an unparalleled strong person, one must have a good foundation. Every time a level is broken through, impurities in the body will be discharged, and it is not until the 9th level after birth that the impurities in the body will be completely eliminated, thus obtaining the qualification to challenge the innate realm. If Li Feng were to practice step by step, it would take at least a year to break through to the 4th level of the day after tomorrow, and now he has only been practicing in the Heavenly Dao Space for less than a day. The realm of martial artists varies greatly at each level, and the higher the realm, the greater the gap. The 4th floor of the day after tomorrow was much more powerful than the 3rd floor. Li Feng used his internal power and suddenly punched the air, causing a roar in the air. This was the sound produced after breaking the sound barrier. Li Feng was pleasantly surprised because he had reached the 4th floor the day after tomorrow and could become an inner disciple. The 4 layers after tomorrow may not be strong, but they serve as a bridge between the past and the future. However, in terms of strength, the strength of the 4 layers after tomorrow has reached 1,000 pounds, which is twice that of the 3 layers after tomorrow. This is the difference in realm, and after becoming an inner disciple, Li Feng can also choose a martial arts skill to cultivate in the library, which can greatly increase his combat power. For this series of changes, Li Feng was very happy in his heart. With the mysterious space, Li Feng's cultivation speed will greatly increase. Later, when Li Feng was preparing to register as an inner disciple at the inner gate, he suddenly noticed that fragments of debris had fallen from his waist. Li Feng suddenly opened his clothes around his waist and found that his long-cherished spiritual stone had been depleted. Due to the loss of spiritual energy, it was completely shattered. Suddenly, Li Feng understood something. Does the Heavenly Dao Space require spiritual stones to be effective? It seems to be true, but that's just right. There's nothing else in this world, the most is spirit stones. As long as the realm is enough, no matter how many spirit stones you can get. Thinking of this, Li Feng didn't even need to rush to collect the token of his inner disciple and rushed straight towards the place where his father was located. Qingfeng Mountain is very large, and the division of Xuanhuang Sect is also very large. The disciples and elders of each class live in different areas. Only high-level children like Li Feng can live in the same area as their elders. Li Feng's location was not far from Li Zhao's father's location, with only one house separated in the middle. Li Feng took a few breaths and came to Li Zhao's room. At this moment, Li Zhao was still worried about Li Feng's future with his wife, and Li Feng's voice rang out. "Father, are you here? I have something to tell you. Come in." Li Zhao and his wife immediately stopped talking. After entering the house, Li Feng said straightforwardly, "Father, I broke through." Breakthrough is enough, even if your talent is not good, being a father can still make you. Halfway through, Li Xiao reacted. "Fenger, have you broken through to the 4th floor the day after tomorrow?" Li Feng's father couldn't believe his ears and confirmed again. Li Feng nodded at the words. Li Xiao was overjoyed. "Ha ha ha, great. Fenger has broken through to the 4th level of the day after tomorrow. If there are any more opportunities, maybe before the age of 20, she can become a martial artist like your elder brother in the later stage of the day after tomorrow, and there will also be a chance to enter the general sect for cultivation." Li Feng's mother was also overjoyed, but Li Feng's goal was a spirit stone, so he directly asked for it. "Father and mother, I have recently gained some opportunities and need a spiritual stone for cultivation, so I hope my father can give me some spiritual stones." "Isn't it just a spirit stone? Your father and I have it. As long as Fenger can break through, anything can be done." Li Xiao was very happy and then threw a bag to Li Feng, saying, "This is a storage bag, usually only distributed by core disciples. This time, it's a reward for your father. There are 30 spirit stones inside, take them and practice well. In addition, you have reached the 4th level of cultivation the day after tomorrow. You will go to collect the token of the inner sect disciple in a moment, and you can stay in the inner sect to practice in the future." Li Feng took the storage bag and felt mixed feelings in his heart. His parents, who were his predecessors, treated him very well. Even though Li Feng had been replaced by Li Feng, who was a human on earth, he felt very pleased in his heart. The two people in front of him were also Li Feng's relatives. "Thank you, father, I'll go and collect the token first." After bidding farewell to the Li Xiao couple, Li Feng first collected the tokens of his inner disciples and then went to the sect's library. Chapter 3. Library. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 4. The Hand of Great Compassion. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The Great Compassion Hand is a set of palm techniques with few moves. It only requires 3 moves, namely the Great Compassion, Buddha's compassion for all sentient beings, and equality for all sentient beings. Each move is a very powerful move. Li Feng followed the shadows that appeared in the Heavenly Dao Space and constantly practiced the Great Compassion Hand. In the depths of Li Feng's mind, as he slapped and slapped, a series of crackling sounds kept appearing in the Heavenly Dao Space. Quickly, Li Feng practiced the 3 moves of the Great Compassion Hand several times, and his consciousness continued to wave his hands. From time to time, illusory palms appeared out of thin air in the Heavenly Dao Space. It seemed to have great power, and it didn't take much time. Li Feng then learned the Great Compassion Hand in a simple way. Li Feng estimated the power of the Great Compassion Hand, but it did not reach the power described in the introduction, so he accelerated his speed. After a series of crackling sounds, Li Feng's 30 spirit stones had all been exhausted. At this moment, Li Feng once again struck with a palm. This palm actually produced a huge sonic boom, which is the ultimate level of cultivation. Li Feng immediately withdrew from the Heavenly Dao Space, looking at his hands with some surprise. I didn't expect the ability of the Heavenly Dao Space to be so incredible. Initially, I thought that even if the Heavenly Dao Space could accelerate my martial arts cultivation, it would take a few days to get started. However, I didn't expect to reach the level of Xiaocheng in less than a day. But now I have only successfully cultivated the first move of Great Compassion and Compassion. If there are enough spirit stones, I'm afraid I can also cultivate the following 2 moves to the level of Little Success today. You should know that whether it's martial arts or martial arts, no matter how arrogant one is, they dare not claim to be able to successfully cultivate in a day, let alone achieve small accomplishments. Li Feng, relying on the Heavenly Way Space, directly crossed the entrance and entered Xiaocheng, which really surprised him. Such achievements may be something that others would never dare to think of in their lifetime, even if the Great Compassion Hand is just a basic martial arts skill. Feeling the power of the Great Compassion Hand, Li Feng decided to try its power, so he came to the yard. Great mercy! Li Feng let out a loud shout, his right hand forming a palm. The true energy in his body quickly formed an illusory palm from the palm, which quickly became the size of Li Feng's 3 palms. Immediately after, Li Feng's right hand suddenly pushed forward, and his illusory palm instantly flew forward. The rapid speed and strength directly drove the air to produce a sonic boom. As for the huge stone in front of Li Feng, it was directly cut into several pieces by the Great Compassion Hand. Seeing the power of the Great Compassion Hand, Li Feng was overjoyed. And Li Feng also felt that after successfully practicing the Great Compassion Hand, his own strength had been enhanced. Originally, Xuanhuang had a tremendous strength of 1,000 pounds the day after tomorrow, but now its strength has reached 1,500 pounds, adding a full 500 pounds of strength. You should know that under normal circumstances, the strength of the 4th layer after tomorrow is around 1,000 pounds, and the strength of the 5th layer after tomorrow is around 2,000 pounds. By the 6th level the day after tomorrow, the warrior's strength had reached around 5,000 pounds. And just the first move of the Great Compassion Hand increased Li Feng's strength by 500 pounds, almost catching up with the strength of the 5th layer the day after tomorrow. Moreover, someone else's strength will not increase like Li Feng did in just one day. I don't know how much effort was put in to increase their strength. Time passed by minute by second, and without the Spirit Stone, Li Feng's cultivation speed slowed down a lot. Therefore, Li Feng decided not to rush to practice for now, but constantly practicing the Great Compassion Hand in the yard. The sky in this world is particularly clean, and the pure white moonlight caresses the earth. Li Feng's figure constantly changed in the night, occasionally producing a roar, so Li Feng practiced his martial arts all night. Li Feng knew that practice makes perfect. In order to become proficient and even form conditioned reflexes, he practiced the first move of the Great Compassion Hand all night. At first, Li Feng's speed was very slow and awkward. But as the number of times increased, Li Feng was already able to proficiently use the first move of the Great Compassion Hand. One night had passed, and when the sun came out, Li Feng also stopped practicing. Then, Li Feng rushed to his parents' house. This is a habit developed by Li Feng. As long as he doesn't leave his parents, he will come to their place to eat when he has time. Li Feng's parents also warmly welcome their own son. After all, in their eyes, Li Feng's achievements will not be too great. I originally thought that Li Feng could only wander in the early or later stages of his life, so it was enough for him to live a peaceful life. With his own second elder and genius elder brother taking care of him, Li Feng can live a peaceful life without any problems. After all, the journey of cultivation is very difficult, and even a slight mistake can lead to death and death. If you don't have talent, being an ordinary person is also very good, it's better than risking your life outside for nothing. However, Li Feng's unexpected breakthrough to the 4th floor the day after tomorrow has raised a glimmer of hope in his parents' hearts. Li Feng is only 16 years old now. If there is a chance, he will break through to the 7th level before the age of 20, and there is hope to become an innate martial artist in the future. After finishing the meal, Li Feng asked awkwardly, "Father, do you still have spirit stones?" "I have used up all the spirit stones you gave me yesterday." Li Feng can't even get the spirit stone now, so he can only ask his father Li Xiao for it. When Li Xiao heard Li Feng's words, he immediately didn't believe it. "Are you a gold-swallowing beast, kid? It's only been a day and you've spent all 30 spirit stones. You're not buying any martial arts skills, are you?" Upon hearing his father's questioning, Li Feng felt helpless in his heart. Isn't it just a gold-swallowing beast? Moreover, in the future, Li Feng will only need more spirit stones, and the Heavenly Dao Space is definitely a super gold-swallowing beast. However, Li Feng couldn't possibly reveal the secret of the Heavenly Way in space, even his own parents. After all, this world is not an ordinary one, and speaking it out might one day harm them. Li Feng only thought of a wording. Father, as you know, I had some opportunities yesterday to break through to the 4th level the day after tomorrow. I don't know what to say about this opportunity, but in short, we need a spirit stone. As long as there are enough spirit stones, my realm may break through to the 7th level before the age of 20. At that time, I will also be able to enter the general sect for cultivation like my elder brother. At that time, both my elder brother and I will become disciples of the general sect. In the future, my elder brother and I will take you 2 elders to the general sect for cultivation. Li Feng came up with such an excuse, and Li's father found it very reasonable. He knew his own son's qualifications and wouldn't break through without reason. Li Feng's excuse is in line with what is happening now. Chapter 5. Significant increase in strength. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Li Feng's mother Yiling said. Husband, since Fenger has her own adventure and the opportunity to break through her innate limitations, we should support her. Moreover, as the 2nd elder of the sect, you receive a monthly salary of 30 spirit stones. It doesn't matter if you give Fenger some more. Upon hearing his wife's words, Li Xiao couldn't help but laugh and cry. Knowing that his wife had misunderstood, he quickly said. What Madam said is that this is Fenger's opportunity, and as Fenger's parents, we should strongly support it. Moreover, if Fenger can enter the Zongzong, as parents, we can also receive some rewards from the Zongzong. After speaking, Li Xiao took out 60 spirit stones from his storage bag again. Most of the father's spirit stones have been spent, and now there are only these left. Take all of them and seize this opportunity. If you want to go further, don't waste this opportunity. As for what kind of adventure you got, as a father, I don't care. You just need to know it yourself. Don't mention it to anyone else except me and your mother. Li Feng looked at the spirit stone in his hand and was deeply moved. Li Xiao treated him so well that he felt like he had returned to Earth. When Li Feng was still on Earth, his parents were like this. They would keep any good things for their 2 brothers and would not be willing to use them. Thank you very much, father, my child. Don't worry, you 2 old men. My child knows what to do. After bidding farewell to the 2 elders, Li Feng returned to his own yard. After a short rest, Li Feng began his cultivation, and this time he planned to break through to the 6th level in one breath. Li Feng quickly entered a state of cultivation, and after multiple rounds of cultivation in the Heavenly Dao Space, he can now basically use it with 1 mind and 2 purposes. Most consciousness focuses on cultivation in the Heavenly Dao Space, and can also allocate a portion of attention to observe external movements to prevent anyone from entering without knowing. Now Li Feng only needs to place the spirit stone around his body, and the Heavenly Dao Space can automatically absorb spiritual energy to supply him for cultivation. From the outside, it can only be seen that Li Feng is practicing. Even if he absorbs spiritual energy quickly, there is no doubt that there is a mysterious presence in Li Feng's mind. In this way, no one can discover Li Feng's secret. Li Feng first took out 30 spirit stones, and the Heavenly Dao Space began to quickly absorb the spiritual energy inside. Unlike before, when Li Feng cultivates martial arts, the Heavenly Dao Space will directly convert the spiritual energy absorbed from the spiritual stone into more pure spiritual energy. And then let Li Feng absorb it directly, which is very fast. The cultivation of postnatal martial artists mainly focuses on body cultivation, from the outside to the inside, including skin, flesh, muscles, bones, and internal organs. In fact, martial artists have already started practicing tendons and bones in the middle of the day after tomorrow. Through cultivation, spiritual energy can also nourish the tendons and bones in the body when it impacts the realm, thereby achieving the effect of refining tendons. The pure spiritual energy transformed from the Heavenly Dao Space was mostly absorbed by Li Feng, with only a small portion being absorbed by the Heavenly Dao Space. Li Feng also noticed this matter, but he didn't know why the Heavenly Dao Space would absorb spiritual energy. He thought it was just to provide power, but it didn't matter. Anyway, it was beneficial for Li Feng. Li Feng began to use his innate skills, and his pure spiritual energy continuously converged from his dantian into his body. After purification of spiritual energy, it quickly passes through the operation route of innate skills and forms the Zhou Tian in Li Feng's body. Li Feng could feel that his physical body was being strengthened by spiritual energy, and his strength was slowly increasing. Li Feng was very excited and did not expect the spiritual energy purified from the Heavenly Dao Space to be so powerful. Subsequently, he began to fully utilize his techniques. It would take 2 to 3 days for an ordinary person in the middle of the postnatal period to absorb a spirit stone, while Li Feng only needed 1 hour. The spirit stones around Li Feng were constantly breaking, almost absorbing one every hour. A day passed, and only 3 of the 30 spirit stones remained. At this point, Li Feng's realm loosened. Bomb! After a deep roar erupted from Li Feng's body, he stood up. Is this the 5th level of the day after tomorrow? It is indeed powerful. I didn't expect to break through another level in just 1 day. The Heavenly Dao Space is like a cheat tool for practicing. Feeling the strength of his body, Li Feng was immensely moved. If his previous proton had not broken through to the 4th layer in 4 or 5 years, it would have been completely different now. Li Feng can also tell others that he is a genius in cultivation, but this is just speculation. If you want to live long, you cannot be too sharp. This is the experience summarized by Li Feng from reading novels in his past life. After all, although Li Feng has traveled through time, he does not consider himself the son of luck in this world. No matter how rough the waves are, he will not die, and there will always be someone to save the scene in the end. Li Feng's current idea is to cultivate well and strive to return to Earth one day. Now my strength should exceed 2,500 pounds, much larger than an ordinary 5th level warrior. I also have more than 30 spirit stones. Why not break through to the 6th level warrior in one fell swoop? After speaking, Li Feng continued to sit down and began practicing. After breaking through to the 5th level of the postnatal realm, the speed at which the Heavenly Dao Space absorbs spiritual energy has significantly increased. Li Feng speculated that the ability of the Heavenly Dao Space to absorb spiritual energy should be related to his own realm. Perhaps there are other abilities that will only be discovered when the cultivation is sufficient in the future. Another night passed quickly, and all 60 spirit stones given by Li Xiao had been absorbed by Li Feng. The next morning, Li Feng broke through once again. I have finally broken through to the 6th level the day after tomorrow. As long as I break through another level, I am eligible to participate in the selection of the Zongzong and join the Zongzong. However, with my qualifications, without enough spirit stones, I cannot break through in a short period of time, nor can I always ask my father for spirit stones. It seems necessary to go out and take a walk. Hunting some monsters can also exchange for some spirit stones, which can actually demonstrate the power of the Great Compassion Hand. In fact, besides being able to exchange spirit stones for monster beasts, some spirit fruits and elixirs are also available, and they are even more valuable. However, finding spirit fruits and elixirs is too difficult, so many people want to obtain spirit stones by hunting and killing monster beasts. There are also some lucky ones who can find the elixir, but the probability is very low, and Li Feng didn't expect to have such good luck. The Qingfeng Mountain Branch Sect is established in the Qingfeng Mountain Range. As long as you leave the sect, you may encounter monsters. The deeper you go into the mountain range, the more monsters you have, and the stronger you are. Even the Qingfeng Mountain Branch was only located on the outskirts of the mountain range. After taking a shower to relieve the fatigue of cultivation, Li Feng left the sect. An hour later, Li Feng entered the inner circle of the mountain range and walked out of the sect for the first time. Li Feng was a bit nervous and only dared to carefully search for his target, afraid of attracting powerful monsters. Chapter 6. Ningyuan fruit. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Li Feng walked cautiously through the mountains, looking around from time to time, quite cautious. Half an hour later, Li Feng suddenly smelled a fruity aroma. This is the fragrance emitted by the ripe spiritual fruit. Li Feng quickly learned what the taste was, and he had seen this description in the Xuanhuang records collected in the library. Xuanhuang Realm is a documentary compiled by generations of ancestors of Zhenwu Sect, who recorded all their observations and experiences. It records that after the spiritual fruit ripens, it will produce a unique fruit aroma. This fragrance has a strong attraction to monsters, and after each type of spiritual fruit matures, it will cause a storm or even slaughter. Immediately after, Li Feng followed the fragrance and arrived at the foot of a small mountain not far away. As he was about to go up the mountain to see the situation, he suddenly heard a roar from a monster. After hesitating for a moment, Li Feng decided to go up and take a look, because his position was not deep into the mountains, and even if there were monsters, he should not be too strong. The speed of the 6th floor was very fast the day after tomorrow. After more than 10 breaths, Li Feng arrived at the mountain. Li Feng jumped onto a big tree and began searching for the location of the spiritual fruit. Not long after, Li Feng discovered the trail of the monster not far in front of him. Li Feng's mind froze and he said, "This is the Earth's wild bear." Still on the 6th floor the day after tomorrow. Li Feng felt a bit depressed. He thought he wouldn't encounter a powerful monster, but he didn't expect to encounter the Earth Bear. The Earth Bear is a type of bear monster. The attack power is strong, and the physical defense is extremely strong. Most human warriors of the same level do not want to encounter it. Because the physical body of the Earth Bear is strong enough to resist the attacks of the mortal iron, even the 7th level warriors of the day after tomorrow may not be able to kill the Earth Bear. However, the Earth Bears have one biggest drawback, which is that their body is too bulky and their speed is very slow, much slower than warriors of the same level. So many people choose to take a detour when encountering Earth Bears. Li Feng encountered such a difficult monster for the first time and was originally planning to withdraw. However, Li Feng's eyes saw a fruit tree next to the Earth Bear. Ningyuan fruit. Li Feng felt a sense of joy in his heart. Ningyuan fruit, as the name suggests, is to help the martial artists of later generations refine their true essence. After the 6th level of the day after tomorrow, we need to condense our internal power into true elements. As long as we condense a bit of true element power, we will successfully step into the 7th level of the day after tomorrow. After all are condensed into true elements, one can challenge the innate realm. I am now at level 6 the day after tomorrow. As long as I have the condensing fruit, I can break through to level 7 in a short period of time. The annual general assessment is still a few months away, and I must break through before that. Li Feng quickly made up his mind. Even if it was a wild bear on the earth, Li Feng was not afraid. Everyone had 6 levels after tomorrow, who was afraid of who? Moreover, Li Feng has a speed advantage. Done. Li Feng gritted his teeth and prepared to launch an attack first. At this moment, the Earth Bear seemed to smell the scent of Li Feng and rushed straight towards the big tree where Li Feng was located. Li Feng is a bit depressed. I really don't know why this guy's nose is so sharp, just like a dog. However, Li Feng didn't have time to complain and flew directly down the big tree. At this moment, the Earth Bear had already arrived in front of Li Feng, jumped up fiercely, and pounced on him with both palms. Indeed, the speed is very slow. Li Feng's figure flashed and he easily avoided the attack of the Earth Bear. As soon as Li Feng landed, the Earth Bear turned its body and continued to attack. Later, Li Feng used his long-practiced hand of great compassion. Great mercy. Li Feng's internal strength gathered in his hands, quickly forming an illusory palm that instantly struck the head of the Earth Bear. Roar! Under the pain, the Earth Bear let out a scream. Li Feng saw that the attack of the Great Compassion Hand was effective, so he directly disregarded the amount of internal power left and slapped it one after another. The Earth Bear learned the power of the Great Compassion Hand and wanted to dodge the attack, but with its speed, it couldn't dodge at all and could only passively accept the pudu of the Great Compassion Hand. Although the skin and flesh of the Earth Bear were thick, Li Feng did not use weapons. He slapped the Earth Bear's head with precision, one palm after another. The Earth Bear, who was originally incredibly spirited, was filmed feeling dizzy in just over a dozen breaths, and was about to faint on the ground. Take advantage of your illness to kill you. Li Feng's attack did not fall at all. A few minutes later, Li Feng's internal strength was only less than 10%. The Earth Bear finally couldn't resist the heavy blow to its head and fell heavily to the ground. Li Feng was also exhausted at this moment. After taking a short break for a minute, he came to the side of the Ningyuan fruit tree, ready to pick the Ningyuan fruit to prevent long dreams at night. There are a total of 7 Ningyuan fruits, and Li Feng picked all the fruits into the storage bag 3 times, 5 out of 2. Unfortunately, this fruit tree is too far away from the sect, and the storage bag cannot hold live animals. Li Feng shook his head and then came to the body of the Earth Bear. He took out a short knife from his storage bag. This is what Li Feng used to divide monsters. Li Feng directly inserted the short knife into the head of the Earth Wild Bear and took out a demon core. The demon core is the largest essence of the demon beast's body and can be used to assist in refining pills for the warrior. A 6-layer demon core from the day after tomorrow can be worth 30 spirit stones, which is a valuable thing. At the same time, Li Feng can also hand over the demon core to the sect in exchange for points, which is equivalent in value to the spirit stone. Therefore, Li Feng plans to hand over the demon core, as he also lacks a body technique. If he had a body technique, Li Feng wouldn't have had such a hard time facing the Earth Bear. After collecting the demon core, Li Feng began to divide the skin and flesh of the Earth Bear. Monsters are all treasures on their bodies, and their flesh can increase a warrior's chi and blood, thereby increasing their strength. This is also why many people like to hunt and kill monsters. In addition, the skin and claws of demon beasts are good things that can be made into inner armor or weapons, and are highly favored by alchemists. Even if Li Feng does not sell demon cores, he can still obtain a considerable amount of spirit stones with the skin, flesh, and sharp claws of the Earth Bear. Half an hour later, Li Feng collected all the spoils of war and quickly left the place without any rest, because the blood of the demon beasts was also very attractive to other demon beasts. Although Li Feng is not afraid, it is always a very troublesome matter. If he is unlucky and comes with some monsters that Li Feng cannot deal with, then it will be over. Now Li Feng's internal strength is less than 10% left, so he simply returned to the true martial sect. After returning to the Xuanhuang sect, Li Feng did not replenish his spiritual energy and instead went directly to the mission hall of the sect, preparing to deal with the body of the monster before proceeding. Chapter 7. 7 Layers of the Day After Tomorrow. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The task hall is a place specifically used by the sect to distribute tasks and exchange for disciples. Disciples of Xuanhuang sect can collect tasks here and receive corresponding points upon completion. Li Feng strode in and arrived at the counter for redeeming points. Most of the people working in the task hall are disciples from the inner gate, which is also a type of task. The staff at the counter where Li Feng came is named Wang Chang, who is also an inner disciple on the 5th floor the day after tomorrow. He is very kind and makes many friends. Therefore, the number of people who come to him to exchange points is always the highest, which is the biggest reason. Another thing is that Wang Chang never deducts points from his disciples. Wang Chang said gently, "Does this junior brother also want to exchange points?" Li Feng nodded and took out the demon core of the Earth Bear, as well as the divided fur and claws. "I want to exchange this demon core for points. Please see how many points it can earn, senior brother. As for these fur and claws, I want to replace them with spirit stones." Wang Chang took something and looked at it, then his eyes lit up. Junior brother is truly powerful, even a difficult monster like the Earth Bear can be killed. Senior brother admires it. Then Wang Chang's voice changed. This demon core is the demon core of the Earth Bear on the 6th level of the day after tomorrow, which can be exchanged for 60 points. These fur and claws are also top quality materials. I can give you 60 spirit stones. Thank you very much, senior brother. The price given by Wang Chang is similar to what Li Feng calculated himself. The demon core of the monster and the things on its body can be replaced with 10 spirit stones for each layer in the day after tomorrow. Each strong layer will have 10 spirit stones, which is very reasonable in price. These are benefits only given by our own sect, usually not discounted. If we sell them outside, the price will be much lower than this. After Wang Chang took Li Feng's disciple token and transferred the points into the token, Li Feng collected the spirit stone and left the task hall. With these 60 spirit stones and the Ningyuan fruit, Li Feng should be able to quickly break through to the 7th level of the day after tomorrow, and even comprehend the last 2 moves of the Great Compassion Hand. At that time, Li Feng's strength will be able to take it to the next level. Leaving the task hall, Li Feng returned to his yard. It was less than 2 months before the Sect's assessment, and Li Feng had to hurry up to improve his cultivation. Li Feng sat cross-legged on the bed, not eating the Ningyuan fruit for the first time. Instead, he planned to increase his cultivation to the 6th level peak before taking the Ningyuan fruit, which would have a better effect. Li Feng first took out 10 spirit stones, which should be enough to support him to reach the peak of the 6th floor. The Heavenly Dao Space immediately began to operate, providing Li Feng with pure spiritual energy. 1 night passed, and 10 spirit stones were absorbed. Li Feng's cultivation level was successfully elevated to the peak of the 6th level. Then Li Feng took out 20 spirit stones again, followed by a Ningyuan fruit, which he swallowed directly. After swallowing the Ningyuan fruit, it quickly took effect. A warm current flows inside the body, and the internal forces inside the body increase crazily under the action of the condensing fruit. The pure spiritual energy provided by the Heavenly Dao Space accelerates the refining of the condensing element fruit, continuously increasing internal strength, and then continuously compressing under the action of the condensing element fruit. Increase, compress under such a cycle. The realm of the 6th layer in the day after tomorrow finally began to loosen, and upon seeing this, Li Feng once again took a Ningyuan fruit. The powerful medicinal effect directly affected Li Feng's dantian, and in the end, his internal strength had been compressed to the extreme. The shackles of his realm were completely loosened and began to break. Subsequently, the speed of transforming spiritual energy into heavenly space became faster and faster, and countless spiritual energies rushed into Li Feng's body frantically, wanting to break through the constraints of the 6th layer of the postnatal world. During this process, Li Feng was in pain because the massive spiritual energy, combined with the yet-to-be fully refined medicinal power, constantly washed away Li Feng's physical body. As if every cell on his body was being washed away, Li Feng gritted his teeth and continued to absorb spiritual energy. Finally, the barrier of 6 layers broke through the day after tomorrow, and a comfortable feeling spread throughout the body, as if suffering is sweet, feeling very wonderful. After breaking through the realm, Li Feng did not stop, but continued to refine the medicinal effect of Ningyuan fruit, using the medicinal effect to see if he could convert his internal power into true qi. True qi is actually an advanced version of internal power, which is the higher level energy generated by compressing internal power to its extreme. Compared to internal power, the true qi is richer and the attack power is stronger. And as long as the true qi is condensed, it can circulate and regenerate in the body. When the true qi is depleted, it can also automatically recover, unlike when spiritual energy needs to be replenished after internal energy consumption. The benefits that both bring to warriors cannot be compared. Not long after, the 20 spirit stones had been consumed, and Li Feng did not continue to take out the spirit stones. He planned to refine the medicinal power completely before speaking. At this moment, the Heavenly Dao Space lost its supply of spiritual stones and turned its focus to the undigested medicinal power of the condensing fruit in Li Feng's body. An invisible force absorbed the unrefined medicinal power into the heavenly space, and in the next second, these medicinal powers were also refined and could be directly absorbed by Li Feng. The refined medicinal power is directly absorbed by Li Feng, and the internal force in the elixir field begins to compress under the action of this medicinal power. I don't know how long it has been, but true qi began to appear in Li Feng's dantian, occupying less than 1/10 of the dantian. Li Feng was overjoyed at the sight and immediately swallowed another Ningyuan fruit, which was quickly refined and absorbed by Li Feng under the use of the Heavenly Dao Space. 3 days later, the true qi in Li Feng's elixir field had reached 1/3, and only 5 days had passed after calculating the time. Li Feng decided to refine all the remaining Ningyuan fruits in one go. Maybe he could convert all his internal strength into true qi before the assessment began. In this way, a month passed quickly during Li Feng's cultivation, with only half a month left until the assessment. Many core disciples of the sect began to prepare for the assessment. On this day, Li Feng finally refined all the condensed yuan fruits, and the true qi in the elixir field was not perfect, only about 70%. The Ningyuan fruit has been used up, and the next step is to rely on other methods to convert all internal power into true qi. However, this is a huge improvement for Li Feng's strength. He is also a 7th level warrior, not a match for Li Feng at all, because almost all of Li Feng's dantian has been transformed into true qi. The attack power is not comparable to ordinary postnatal warriors. This time in seclusion, Li Feng once again felt a role of the Heavenly Dao Space, which is to refine spiritual fruits and accelerate the cultivation speed. This also means that alchemy can be refined, which is also great good news for Li Feng. I originally planned to practice the last 2 moves of the Great Compassion Hand again, but after more than a month of seclusion, Li Feng also planned to leave to see how much time was left for the assessment. So after combing and washing, Li Feng came to his father's house. Chapter 8. Excited Li's Father and Mother. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Li Feng arrived at his father's house, the couple was preparing to eat, so Li Feng sat down and had a meal together. After finishing the meal, Li Feng asked, "Father, when will the assessment of the sect start?" Li Xiao said angrily upon hearing this. "Why are you asking this, kid? Practice hard. You won't have a chance to participate in this year's assessment. If you can seize the opportunity, there will be a chance to break through to the 7th level next year." Li Xiao subconsciously thought that Li Feng was still at the 4th level of cultivation the day after tomorrow and wanted to strike him. Li Feng knew that his father had misunderstood and continued. "Father and mother, I have successfully broken through to the 7th floor the day after tomorrow." "Yes, I know you broke through to the 7th floor the day after tomorrow, and next year." At this point, Li Xiao suddenly stopped and looked at Li Feng with an incredulous expression on his face. Then he looked at Yi Ling again. Immediately after, the two of them looked at Li Feng again, and both of their faces showed an excited expression. Li Feng knew his parents were very excited and didn't say anything. "Let's wait for them to recover before we talk." After a few breaths, Li Xiao said. "Ha ha ha, you're such a kid." Surprisingly, he broke through to the 7th floor the day after tomorrow without a sound. "He truly deserves to be my son, Li Xiao. Like your elder brother, he is a genius." Ha ha ha. Li's mother saw Li Xiao's appearance on the side and Yi laughed and cursed. A person in their teens is still so unstable. Fortunately, you are still a person born in the late stage. Let's take a look at Fenger's situation first, so as not to be heard and make a joke. Suddenly, Li Xiao's laughter disappeared and he looked at Li Feng seriously. "Fenger, please talk about it carefully. How could you have gone from the 4th level of cultivation to the 7th level so quickly? It's been less than 2 months now, do you think you've gained any more opportunities?" Li Xiao was really surprised by Li Feng's cultivation speed. After being happy, he realized that with Li Feng's talent, he would definitely not break through so quickly. Unless there are other opportunities, or it can be said that Li Feng has mastered the opportunities mentioned earlier. Li Feng smiled slightly and then said, "Father and mother, you're right. I have already mastered the opportunity one gained a while ago and successfully broke through to the 6th level of cultivation the day after tomorrow." So the child went to the mountains to experience for a period of time, but unexpectedly encountered a mature fruit tree. After defeating the guardian monster of the spirit fruit, the child obtained 7 Ningyuan fruits. After refining, it naturally broke through to the 7th level the day after tomorrow, and that's probably how things go. Li Feng did not mention anything about the heavenly way in space, but only vaguely explained it once. Ningyuan fruit. No wonder Fenger was able to break through to the 7th level in the day after tomorrow. The effect of Ningyuan fruit is to help people break through and convert their internal power into internal power. Li Feng's mother said. At this moment, Li Xiao thought of something and continued to ask. "Fenger, you said you have refined all the Ningyuan fruits. Has your internal power been converted into true qi?" In Li Xiao's gaze, there was still a hint of anticipation. Li Feng didn't know why, so he spoke truthfully afterwards. Unfortunately, even after refining 7 Ningyuan fruits, only 70% of the internal power in the body is converted into true qi, and it has not reached perfection. It may take a long time to reach perfection. Upon hearing Li Feng's words, his parents' faces were already filled with surprise, and then Li's mother excitedly said. "Great!" In this way, although Fenger's cultivation level of the 7th level in the day after tomorrow is a bit poor, she can have 70% of her true energy, so there is no problem with the assessment of the general sect. Li Xiao on the side also nodded repeatedly. Li Feng was puzzled by his parents' statement, and only then did Li Xiao explain. Although Fenger has been in the sect for these years, it is not surprising to know the assessment of the general sect. However, Fenger is not aware of the assessment criteria. "Father, please speak," said Li Feng. The assessment of the sect mainly involves selecting outstanding talents for the general sect. One of the criteria for defining a genius is that one's cultivation level can reach 7 or more levels before the age of 20, which is called a genius. And the Zongzong also has a rule, which is to convert internal power into true qi before the 9th level. Whether it is the 7th or 8th level, they will be directly selected and enter the Zongzong cultivation. Such geniuses are all true geniuses in the Zongzong, and even when there are 7 levels of postnatal energy in the Zongzong, all of their internal power is transformed into true qi. Just practice step by step until you reach the 9th level after birth, and you can smoothly become an innate powerhouse. However, Qingfeng Mountain has not had such a genius in many years. Even your elder brother only converted 5 levels of internal power when he was on the 8th level the day after tomorrow, and was directly incorporated into the main sect. Now that Fenger has the opportunity, she has suddenly surpassed your elder brother. It's really good luck. However, as a martial artist, luck is also a part of one's strength. As a father, I am very optimistic about you. Li Xiao said a lot, and only then did Li Feng realize that there was still this reason, so he didn't have to worry about not being able to enter the Zongzong. At this moment, Li's mother said with some concern. "Fenger, as a martial artist, you are destined to fight with others. Over the years, you have been following us and have not witnessed real martial arts struggles. Even if you enter the Zongzong in the future, these struggles will be everywhere. Although your elder brother will appease you, you must be careful and cautious in everything." Upon hearing this, Li Feng's heart warmed. Although he had never seen it before, he still knew more or less about 2 generations of people. At least if he had no ability, he should not be too high profile. Moreover, as a Chinese person, he still has a slight understanding of the principle of concealing oneself. Li Xiao also strongly agrees with Yi Ling's statement, because these are all experiences they have experienced, and the cruelty between warriors can only be known after experiencing them. There is no cruelest, only the cruelest. Li Feng will soon know that what they can do now is to remind him first, so that Li Feng can have a cautious mentality. Only in this way can we live longer than others. Remember, my child, said Li Feng. Next, Li Xiao mentioned the specific time for the assessment, and in half a month, the sect will bring its core disciples to the general sect to participate in the assessment. Later, Li Feng was asked to collect the token of the core disciple, but Li Xiao did not say anything about cultivation. Now that there is no chance, he is not sure if Li Feng can continue to break through. Anyway, as long as he enters the Zongzong, the resource score will always be much better. The true qi transformed by Li Feng, as long as it enters the Zongzong, will eventually break through to the innate realm. Soon, Li Feng bid farewell to his parents and went to the sect to receive a token belonging to the core disciple. Chapter 9. Go to Zongzong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Li Feng went to exchange for an identity token, the elder in charge of this matter was also deeply shocked in his heart. Just 2 months ago, it was also the inner disciple token he sent to Li Feng. How long has it been since then? Li Feng has directly become a core disciple from an inner sect disciple again. The elder exclaimed in his heart that he was a demon, while also feeling a bit envious of the good luck of the second elder Li Xiao. A few years ago, his eldest son was just a genius, but now even his ordinary youngest son has unconsciously become a genius, which is truly enviable. Li Feng was unaware of the psychological activities of the inner sect elder. After receiving the identity token of the core disciple, Li Feng returned home. He plans to try again before going to the Zongzong to see if he can break through to the 8th level the day after tomorrow. Even if he reaches the Zongzong, he will not be the last to exist. Li Feng still had 30 spirit stones left, all of which he had taken out and placed around him. Then, Li Feng crossed his knees and began practicing. Tiandao Space felt Li Feng's cultivation and immediately began to absorb the spiritual energy from the spiritual stone. With the continuous absorption of spiritual energy, the Heavenly Dao Space is also evolving into the realm of the 7th layer of heaven for Li Feng. The spiritual energy is constantly being consumed, and Li Feng's understanding of the 7th layer of heaven is becoming deeper and deeper. After a day had passed, the cultivation of the 7th level the day after tomorrow had completely stabilized, and there was no waste of time. Li Feng continued to cultivate. Continuously realizing this realm, the realm is also constantly improving. The speed of cultivation progress is comparable to flying a plane. If other geniuses see Li Feng's cultivation speed, they may be struck and doubt life. This is the real genius, damn it. Time passed day by day in Li Feng's cultivation, and in a blink of an eye, half a month had passed. All the core disciples in the sect had arrived and were ready to depart for the main sect, leaving only Li Feng to arrive. The person leading the team this time is Li Feng's father, Li Xiao. There are a total of 4 elders in Qingfeng Mountain Branch sect, each of whom takes turns sending gifts for a year. This time, it happens to be Li Xiao's turn. Seeing that Li Feng has not come yet, Li Xiao is very anxious in his heart. Has this stinky kid forgotten the assessment time? As time approached the starting point, the other core disciples became impatient and began to urge. However, as the second elder, Li Xiao was naturally not something that these little guys could drive, so he just made them wait first. Stinky kid, I've been an elder for so many years, and I've never been deposed for personal reasons before. If it's delayed now, I'll see if I don't take care of you. Time is approaching. If Li Feng doesn't come again, Li Xiao can only let him come again next year. As soon as Li Xiao finished roast, Li Feng appeared, and Li Xiao was relieved. Stinky kid, if you don't come again, you'll miss this assessment. It's not a big deal. Li Feng only dared to smirk and did not dare to refute. After all, it was he who caused the trouble himself, and he didn't dare to retaliate against his own father. Then Li Xiao gave an order, and the group of 11 finally set off. Li Feng's cultivation level has now exceeded the 8th level the day after tomorrow, and his true energy has also been converted to 80%. The reason for his delay is that Li Feng took a comfortable shower later, which was why he arrived late. Among the many branches, Qingfeng Mountain Branch School is relatively good. This year, there are 10 core disciples, including the newly appointed Li Feng. Among them, 5 are the 7th layer after birth, and 3 are the 8th layer after birth. Li Feng is also among them. Only 2 disciples have reached the 9th level of cultivation, but among these disciples, only Li Feng and 2 disciples from the 9th level have transformed their true qi. These 2 disciples from the 9th level after birth, namely Zhang San and Zhao Si, are the disciples of the 3rd elder and the 4th elder. They both convert 10% of their true qi. Li Feng silently listened to the conversations of other disciples and learned about their general situation and cultivation. Then, Li Feng turned his gaze to Zhang San and Zhao Si. Due to their cultivation, these 2 individuals maintained a certain distance from the other 7 individuals. Li Feng could immediately see that their own cultivation gave them an unnecessary sense of superiority. It's completely unnecessary to express to Li Feng, but it's not his business, as long as he maintains his true intention. Moreover, although Li Feng is currently at the 8th level the day after tomorrow, he is confident in easily defeating the 2 of them, because his true qi has already been converted to 80%, and the strength of his true qi cannot be compared to the 2 of them. After walking like this for 2 days, Li Feng began to miss the plane from his past life. The address of Xuanhuang Sect is located to the south of the Xia dynasty, while the location of Qingfeng Mountain is to the south of Zongzong, separated by more than 1,000 kilometers. And the warriors in this world cannot fly in their innate realm, not to mention Li Feng and other acquired realms, who can only rely on walking. As for what realm can fly, Li Feng also asked Li Xiao, but Li Xiao did not tell him, saying that he was afraid of affecting Li Feng's Dao heart. Li Feng could only feel helpless about this, but fortunately, everyone was a cultivator and the speed was not slow. If there were no other issues during the journey of over 1,000 kilometers, it would take 7 or 8 days to arrive. The assessment of Xuanhuang Sect is conducted on the same day every year, which is the last day of the year. Each sub-sect will arrive at the main sect a few days in advance. Firstly, it is to familiarize the disciples with the atmosphere of the Zongzong, and secondly, these elders who lead the team can also gain more knowledge. On the way, everyone was very safe and did not encounter any dangerous situations. After all, everyone had the emblem of the true martial sect on their clothes, and most people would politely refuse to make mistakes. Because in this area, Xuanhuang Sect is synonymous with power. However, on the 5th day, we still encountered a small episode. A group of thieves who make a living by plundering, seeing that they are disciples of the Xuanhuang Sect, thought they were a group of big fish and wanted to kill and seize treasures. Unexpectedly, Li Xiao was a warrior with a 9-tier innate ability, and the leader of the thief was a warrior with a 1-tier innate ability, who was directly stunned by Li Xiao. All the remaining minions have been handed over to Li Feng and his disciples for resolution. This is Li Feng's first time killing someone, without the nausea and vomiting seen on TV in his previous life. He just felt a little uncomfortable and quickly regained his composure. The other disciples are much better than Li Feng, and they have basically seen blood. In addition, they have been living in this world for more than 10 years and know much about this kind of thing. This episode passed quickly, and everyone unexpectedly gained a fortune, but each disciple had about 10 spirit stones. Coincidentally, Li Feng's spirit stones have also been used up, and these 10 spirit stones can prevent unexpected needs. On the 7th day, a group of 11 finally arrived at the Zongzong of Xuanhuang Sect. Li Feng didn't expect that scenes from his past life that existed in fantasy would appear in front of him like this. Chapter 10. Sect Assessment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is this the Zongzong? Sure enough, it's impressive. What caught Li Feng's eye was a large mountain range shrouded in clouds and mist. If you could feel it carefully, you would find that these clouds and mist were not actually natural phenomena. But it is the spiritual energy formed by the convergence of countless spiritual energies, which has formed clouds and mist. However, just as they stepped into the sect, everyone felt the spiritual energy far exceeding that of the sect. Even without self-cultivation, the body can absorb some spiritual energy, which is very beneficial for people. In various parts of the mountain range, there are also palaces scattered with stars in the winding mountains. This is just something that everyone can see with the naked eye. Li Feng couldn't imagine how many powerful warriors were inside such a huge sect. At this moment, Li Feng was full of expectations for the Xuanhuang sect. His cultivation relied heavily on spiritual stones, and such a magnificent sect must not lack the spiritual stones that Li Feng lacked. The others were not much better than Li Feng, and some even had more exaggerated expressions than Li Feng. Seeing everyone's appearance, Li Xiao, the leader of the team, first smiled and then said, "Alright, look at you guys who haven't seen the world before. Your main task next is to pass the assessment. If you can pass, you can join the Zongzong, which is also your future place of cultivation. I won't go into too much detail about the benefits here, Elder. After you join the Zongzong, you will naturally experience them. Next, I will take you to the gathering place of the sub-sects and explain the content of the assessment to you." Upon hearing Li Xiao's words, everyone came to their senses to look at him. "Elder Li, I don't know what the assessment of the sect is. Although we know that after passing the assessment, we can join the sect, we have never heard of what the assessment is." This is what Zhang San said, and other disciples looked at Li Xiao eagerly upon hearing it. Li Xiao said while leading the way. The assessment of the sect is divided into 3 parts. The first part is the simplest, which is to test your strength. As long as you reach the 7th level the day after tomorrow, you can pass through this level. That's why only core disciples of the sect can participate in the assessment. As for the second content, it is to assess whether your internal strength has been converted into true qi. This is the most important point, because as long as you convert your internal power into true qi, you can directly enter the general sect and become external disciples. Only 3 of you can meet this standard and do not need to continue to participate in the third assessment. When these words were spoken, all the disciples except Li Feng were surprised. What? I didn't expect anyone besides senior brother Zhang and senior brother Zhao to also transform their true qi. It seems that this senior brother is really hiding deep enough. These disciples who have not converted their true qi whispered. Zhang San and Zhao Si also felt the pressure, because only they were present at the 9th level, which means that this third person's cultivation is not as good as theirs, but they have already transformed their true qi. In that case, this person is even more talented than the 2 of them. It's unclear who this person is or how much they have transformed. However, no one answered their question, and neither Li Feng nor Li Xiao would take the initiative to say it. Anyway, they will know when the time comes. Li Xiao continued. The last assessment content is illusion. At this moment, Li Feng asked inexplicably, "What is an illusion?" Li Xiao smiled and said, "Fantasy realm, as the name suggests, is a place or formation that can make warriors hallucinate. The third assessment content is set for disciples who have not converted their internal power into true qi. Along the path of martial arts, in addition to having sufficient talent, one must also possess extraordinary perseverance, so as to stand out from thousands of people and step onto the higher peak of martial arts. The purpose of setting up illusions in all sects is to test your willpower and see if you have the potential for the sect to continue cultivating. In the illusion, you won't be harmed. If you can pass the illusion test, you can also join the sect." After Li Xiao finished speaking, everyone suddenly realized. Li Xiao's words were not wrong at all, but they also breathed a sigh of relief for the 7 disciples who had not converted their internal power into true qi. They all had a chance. Everyone secretly made up their mind to pass the assessment. But when Zhang San and Zhao Si knew they could join the sect directly, their attitude towards others became even more indifferent, as if they already felt that everyone was not the same. They didn't think anyone else could pass the assessment smoothly, and everyone knew about their personalities. Coupled with their higher cultivation, they didn't say anything and consciously distanced themselves from the two. Li Xiao, who was leading the way ahead, also noticed this and just shook his head lightly before saying anything more. Quickly, everyone arrived at the gathering places of various sects, and by this time, there were already many sects present. Li Feng and others arrived relatively late. "Old Li, come here." At this moment, a refined middle-aged man greeted Li Feng and others in the direction, clearly calling them Li Xiao. "Let's go." Li Xiao immediately brought his people to the side of the elegant middle-aged man. "Old Li, you're counting it. I thought you weren't coming this time," the middle-aged man joked. Li Xiao responded with a smile, "It's my turn this time. It's not possible not to come. But Lao Zhao, the seedlings of your Qingyun sect this year are not bad, there are actually 15 people." Upon hearing this, Li Feng and others looked over and saw 15 disciples standing not far behind the elegant middle-aged man. Among them, there were 5 disciples on the 9th floor the day after tomorrow, 2 more than them. Upon hearing Li Zhao's words, everyone nodded in goodwill. At this moment, the elegant middle-aged man said, "Your Qinfeng mountain sect is also good, and 10 seedlings are also good." Li Xiao shook his head slightly and continued, Lao Li, let me introduce you. This is my son, and he will also participate in the assessment this time. Fenger, this is my father's friend, Zhao Wuji. We have a lifelong friendship." Li Xiao pointed at Li Feng, and at that moment, Li Feng remembered that his father had a close friend who had a branch in Qingyun Mountain. The two sub-sects are the closest to each other. When they were young, they went out for training and were destined to travel together. They saved each other's lives multiple times and thus formed a deep friendship. Li Feng immediately developed a favorable impression of Zhao Wuji, so he respectfully bowed and said, "Young man, Li Feng has seen Uncle Zhao. Not bad. Not bad. I didn't expect that old Li would give birth to Li Yi, the prodigy's eldest son, and then another little genius. He really envies me." Zhao Wuji is also an innate expert in the 9th level, and he can see Li Feng's realm at a glance, which is why he said such words. In his opinion, it is safe for Li Feng to enter the sect. And the other disciples of the Qinfeng Mountain sect only then realized that this junior brother, who was not very talkative all the way, was actually a disciple of the second elder. They all looked at Li Feng a few more times and guessed in their hearts whether it was Li Feng who was the third one to convert internal power into true qi.